Hello people, today I want to show you how to make Halloween pumpkin inside Zbrush. We're gonna start with the sphere because, it's the obvious choice. I'm gonna switch it to damn standard brush. Usually how I would do that would be to find the middle point on top and then one on the bottom. It's a really messy process, so we need something that will make our life much easier. If you go to transform and if you click on this R button, you will see that now you have like a lot of points, and it's actually 8 points, and whatever I draw on one side, it's gonna be repeated eight times. So if I increase it, it's gonna be more, and so on and so on. So you can already see where this thing will go, but I want to show you quickly how you can, be a quick artist and do stuff fast. And for example, if you click X and Z, you can start doing some weird, lovely shapes, and you can print it or do whatever, call it some kind of art, and become famous pretty easily. But we need to go back on track, we need to do pumpkin, so we're gonna uncheck X and Z, and we're gonna only keep Y. Why? Why? Because if we start dragging from top, we're gonna get our shape, and it already looks like a pumpkin. So I'm gonna smooth it out a little bit because it looked slightly too strong. And we can now add even more details. Again, I'm still gonna keep the symmetry. I'm just gonna add a lot of stuff. This will be just fine. So I'm gonna uncheck the radius and I'm gonna go back to X. Now I can hit M to grab a move tool. Like I said, I'm gonna uncheck the symmetry entirely, which happens if you press X. And I'm gonna adjust it a little bit so it looks kind of different. Done. Now what we need to do is we need to mask out the parts that we're gonna carve in. This is my technique, this is how I do stuff. Some people will just go into clay buildup, and they will just start cutting shapes inside, and it can work, definitely. It really depends on the style. So obviously you can see that this thing is working, but what I like to do, I just like to mask out parts that I'm gonna carve in. So by pressing Control, we can make some shapes. Symmetry is turned on, but it's not working properly because I broke the symmetry. So sometimes I will need to repeat it on the other side a little bit more. And I'm adding the... Actually, you know what? Because you can see that quality of this mask is not that great. The reason is because we have not enough active points. We're gonna go into geometry and divide 2 times. We can do it once, but I have a strong computer, so I can do it 2 times. And now we're gonna start making our shapes, and you can see that edge is much nicer. So again, I'm gonna add nose and mouth. those teeth a little bit more goofy. Now, few options. First one, I can invert the mask, so by pressing Ctrl and hitting somewhere outside of my model. I can go into subtool and extract. I'm gonna increase this thickness 0.05 and I'm gonna hit double. So that means that this part that is now masked, it's gonna get extracted and it's gonna go out for 0.05, but it also, because I pressed the double, it's gonna go inside. So I'm gonna hit extract and accept. So now another subtool was created and this is basically our pumpkin. It's carved out, it looks decent. Only thing that is bothering me is basically the thing that it's expanded a little bit more, so it's much bigger, and compared to my other one you can see that details are not exactly the same. So to do that, there's another option. We're gonna move inside unselected part and make it slightly smaller, and this looks pretty good, but it's not carved out. It's not like this one. So to do that, we need to add sphere, because again it's the most similar one. I'm gonna hit this little icon right there, and you can see that absolutely nothing has happened. The reason is because we didn't turn on this button. If we click on this one, bam, magic is here. So basically this shape that we have here is cutting everything inside. We are using it as a tool to cut everything inside our model, and if we don't like something, we can quickly adjust it. We can adjust the height and it's gonna affect everything else. So it's still adjustable until we click on boolean and click make boolean mesh. Now we can uncheck all of this, click on insert and choose the last thing that's called umesh poly, and there it is. So now we can compare it. We have two different versions. One was made by extrusion, extract, the other one was made in slightly different way, and you can see that they all look pretty good. So we can start adding more stuff on our pumpkin. For example, we can add more detail. We can add I don't know, something like those, I don't know how it's even called, but bumps. We can press B and get blob, which does the same thing, but it looks like it's making it much stronger with more contrast. So you can quickly add some deformations, some nasty stuff. It's really up to you. Also, you can add more like wrinkles, not wrinkles, I don't know how it's called, but you get the idea. And on top of that, if you really want more, like for example some kind of nice texture on top of it, you can go into surface and click on the noise. That will bring this other window, and you can adjust the noise here. You can play around with a lot of different options and press OK. So now the noise is on top of our model, but it's still not the part of the model until we apply to the mesh. So we can keep it like this until the end. And it's a good thing because we can adjust our noise level. Now there's still option to do that, but if you click on apply to mesh, it's gonna get applied to the surface, and now it's done. So now you cannot change it anymore. I'm gonna insert another sphere, move it up, scale it down, and stretch it. And also I'm gonna use move tool to adjust it a little bit to the form, the stem. And we're gonna add more details, so I'm just gonna use damp standard to do some variations. Basically, this is how I did my screaming pumpkin vines and stem. But just experimenting a lot and doing weird curves until it looked good. Also, I'm gonna use clay tubes for this part, so I'm gonna hold Alt and make this like it's, someone cut it, but it was giving some sort of fight, so it just break at one point. Okay, it's not the greatest stem ever, but it's kind of fine. And last thing, we're gonna add a little bit of color, because this is okay for printing, but if you just want to show it to someone, we need to add more color. So we're gonna change it to orange here, and we're gonna hit color and fill object. So now when we go back to, let's say, white, you will see that I did the wrong thing. I painted the stem. So let's quickly go back and turn that into green. So color, fill object, it's green. Now we need to switch to this subtool, and now we're gonna paint it orange. Again, color and fill object. So we can play more with it. For example, if you go into this brush, paintbrush, and add some variation, we can paint parts darker. Okay, maybe that's too strong. And this is it. That's how I do pumpkins inside Zbrush. I hope this will be a good start for you guys, and that you'll be able to make something until the Halloween, or apply this to some other type of model. It's really up to you. Anyway, have a great day, and I hope I'm gonna see you next time. Bye bye.